The first time I noticed my mother was not sleeping beside my father, it stopped me cold. I was just a little girl, walking through our house in the dark, and there she was in another bed, quiet as could be, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Back then, I thought something had to be wrong. I thought maybe they were upset with each other, maybe something bad had happened, maybe this was one of those adult things nobody explains to children. But when I got older, I learned the truth was a lot simpler and honestly, a lot more human. Sometimes Amish women sleep in a separate bed for the same reason a lot of women everywhere do. They are exhausted, recovering, nursing, caring for a sick child, or just trying to get through the night in a house that never really stays quiet. My name is Sarah. I'm an ex Amish woman from Pennsylvania, and if you did not grow up around Amish homes, this is one of those things that can look mysterious from the outside when really it is tied to daily life, family responsibility, and plain old survival. People on the outside sometimes imagine Amish marriage as one rigid picture, like every home runs exactly the same way and every couple does everything exactly alike. But real Amish life is practical. It is structured, yes, and modest, yes, but it is also built around work, children, health, and keeping a household moving. And when you understand that, the separate bed makes a lot more sense. When I was a child, I remember seeing things without understanding them. That is how children are. You notice the lamp glow under a doorway. You hear floorboards in the middle of the night. You see an extra quilt laid out somewhere it usually is not, and your mind starts building stories. In our world, children were not brought into every adult conversation. So if mama slept somewhere else one night, nobody sat me down and gave me a full explanation. I just carried the question quietly. Why is she there and not with dad? Years later, I understood that in many Amish homes, sleep is not treated like some romantic ideal. It is treated like a necessity, and the house has to bend around whoever needs rest the most. Amish families are often large. The home is busy. The work starts early. On farms, people can be up around 4 in the morning. Even in non farm households, many people rise early for chores, market work, or long rides to jobs. So, if a woman had been up half the night with a baby, if she was recovering from childbirth, if she had a child with a fever, or if she simply needed uninterrupted sleep for a few hours, sleeping separately was not some shocking rebellion. It could just be the practical answer to a practical problem. One of the biggest reasons is childbirth and the weeks after it. A lot of outsiders do not realize how much of Amish life happens at home. In many communities, women have traditionally given birth at home, often in the bedroom or even the living room, with a midwife or other women helping. After the baby comes, the mother rests and recovers in bed or on a sofa, and there is a strong understanding that the postpartum period matters. In some Amish settings, women observe a real recovery period of about 6 weeks. That does not mean she is doing nothing. It means everyone understands she has just gone through something major. So, yes, during that time, sleeping arrangements can change. A woman may need a bed to herself with the baby close by. She may need space to nurse through the night. She may need quiet. She may need her husband to sleep elsewhere for a little while so somebody in that house can function the next day. And if you have ever been around a newborn, you already know why. Babies do not care about schedules. They do not care who worked all day or who has to milk cows in the morning. They wake when they wake. They cry when they cry. They nurse when they nurse. In Amish homes where life is already physically demanding, a mother's sleep can get broken into tiny pieces. Sometimes the easiest thing is for her to sleep in another bed with the baby nearby, or for the husband to sleep separately for a while, especially if he has to be up before dawn. That is not coldness, that is teamwork. Illness can be another reason. In close family life, when one person is sick, everybody feels it. If a child is ill, especially a baby, the mother may stay near that child all night. In some cases, especially when a child has serious health needs, mothers may live in a kind of alert mode, waking for feedings, checking temperatures, listening for changes in breathing, and guarding the child from infection. That kind of night does not look like the picture people have in their heads of a peaceful shared bed. It looks like a mother doing what mothers do, going where she is needed most. There is also something outsiders miss about Amish homes. They are family homes first, not private luxury spaces built around adult comfort. Bedrooms are upstairs, houses are often full, and rooms are used according to need. During church gatherings in the home, women with nursing children may spend much of the day upstairs in the bedrooms, where there are beds and chairs and more privacy. So, from a young age, Amish women are used to space being flexible. A bed is not always just a bed for nighttime with one fixed meaning. Sometimes it is a place for recovery. Sometimes it is where a nursing mother gets away from the noise. Sometimes it is where someone catches a little sleep whenever life allows it. Now, let me say something clearly, because this matters. Sleeping separately sometimes is not some universal Amish rule, and it is not proof of a bad marriage. That is the kind of outside assumption that grows when people look at Amish life from far away and start filling in blanks with fantasy. The truth is less dramatic and more honest. Amish life is highly ordered, but it is also deeply practical. If a woman needs another bed for a while, she uses another bed. If a husband needs sleep because morning work comes early, they figure it out. If there is a new baby, a hard pregnancy, a night sickness, or a crowded house, people adapt. And that brings me back to my mother. What I saw as a child and misunderstood was not distance, it was responsibility. It was probably exhaustion too. It was one woman trying to get enough rest to do everything expected of her the next day: cook, wash, clean, care for children, keep the house going, and still show up with a calm face like nothing had happened in the night. When I was little, I thought separate beds meant separation. When I grew up, I realized sometimes it means the exact opposite. Sometimes it means a family is doing whatever it has to do to hold itself together. That is one of the biggest differences between the outside image of the Amish and the real daily life. Outsiders look for symbols. The people inside the house are just trying to make it to morning. So, if you ever hear that Amish women sleep in separate beds sometimes, do not jump straight to some secret rule or strange tradition. In many cases, the answer is much more ordinary: childbirth, recovery, nursing, sick children, early work, a crowded home, a long night, real life. And honestly, that is what makes it interesting to me now, not because it is exotic, but because it is so human. I used to wonder why my mother was in that other bed. Now I know. Sometimes a woman is not sleeping apart because something is broken. Sometimes she is sleeping apart because she is the one holding everything together.